Hey guys, in this video I'll be showing you how I constructed the leather satchel. This is not a Nikki and Mallory original. I actually purchased this pattern to experiment with this style. If you're interested in this pattern, please check the link in the bio below. So for starters, this video is not sponsored, but Fiskars is one of my favorite brands. This is my favorite cutting mat, and they have everything you need as far as sewing, crafting, etc., etc. So what I'm doing here is starting with my leather pieces. Each one is cut individually based on the pattern piece itself. The night before, I glued the spotted hair to the leather flap so that it would have some time to dry. Then I went in and cut off the excess hair from the edges so that when I stitch with my sewing machine, I would have a nice, clean, even stitch. Anytime I'm working with anything other than solid leather, such as textile, hair, fur, anything of that nature, this is a technique that I use to pull out the fibers of the hair from the stitch. This just gives it a seamless appearance. So anytime I decide to use round edges versus square edges, I use this little piece by Craft Tool. It comes with different sizes, as you can see. In the center, there's tiny little numbers that gives you different dimensions. It ranges from, I think, 3/4 quarters to 2 inches, if I'm not mistaken. Right now, I'm using a 1-inch corner, and this will help me keep things nice and precise, but it'll also give me an idea of what size hardware to use. So if I'm cutting at 1 inch, that way I know I need to use a 1-inch piece hardware. In some cases, you might want to get hardware that's a little bit bigger than the piece that you're cutting, but I like my hardware to be nice and fit and pretty snug, but it all depends on the ounce of your leather or the width of your leather, so it is all about preference. Even though this was made with 2 different pieces, the more you buff it, sand it, and coat it, the closer the pieces will come together and it'll look seamless, like it was just made with 1 piece. So just FYI, if you are buffing or if you are putting 2 pieces of leather together and you don't want your edges to show like a line or a dent or anything in the middle, then continue to buff and coat with, I usually use Triganthicum, or however you pronounce this mess, or beeswax, or yeah, those are my main 2, or even saddle soap. But just make sure you continue to buff, and it'll buff out that entire seam line. I kind of changed up the design on the fly, which is what I do a lot. So I'm gonna add, I was originally gonna leave these just plain leather, but I feel like the flap needs something to coordinate with it, so I'm gonna add this to the strap holders to give it a little flair, make it pop a little more. And yeah, I'm gonna do that right now. Essentially all you have to do is baste your hair the same way you did, baste your hair to the leather the same way you did the flap. So I'm just gonna do that. So this part was a little tricky, and being that it's not a pattern piece that I created, I just wanted to be as accurate as possible. So what I did was I measured each corner just to make sure that I would have enough to go around. I always cut extra just in case, because there's been times that I haven't had enough and I would sew around and it'll be short. So what I did for this is just extended the piece so that I could cut around in comfort, because once it starts to curve, you don't know how much excess leather that you're actually sewing. So my camera ended up dying on me and I wasn't able to show you guys exactly what I did here. That was really cute. So I essentially took the piece that I sewed together, measured it to the perimeter of the bag, added some leather glue to the edges, and made sure everything was perfectly fit into place before sewing it on my machine. Sometimes leather will shift, so I like to make sure everything is nicely fit into place. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. For a list of everything used, make sure you check the description box and don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace out.